Hey guys, it's Mike here from Taylor RC, and I wanted to do a quick FAQ video about our new 35cc RC engine. Now, we've obviously received lots of questions off the YouTube videos and the posts we put on social media, and rather than keep replying to every single one, I wanted to try and run through, cover all your questions and help other people that have the same questions in future. So I'll try and rattle them off. Price, £620 or 850 US dollars. As you see it here, there will obviously be add-ons if you want to add a carburetor, but any carburetor on the market will work. We would advise you to drop the pop-off pressure to at least kind of 18 to 20 psi to help with the launch. Availability, we are aiming for the end of this month, possibly rolling over into the start of February, but that's still roughly on course there. The cylinders are being cast at the minute, and then they'll just need a painting and machining off finally. So we're kind of roughly on target there. Everything else is pretty much coming along nicely. We've done most of the machining. The pistons are made and the piston rings are done. Most of the custom pieces that we've sort of been having done in bulk have nearly been completed. So we are aiming to stick to that schedule. While I'm actually just talking about the engine itself, we did finish dressing the side of the engine there. I didn't have that properly in the last video, so we'll just have a nice neat little sticker on the pull start and a beautiful machined billet plate on the side of the fan cover there. It's damn cold in here at the minute, so a little bit frosty from my breath, but hopefully you get the idea there. Just to make it look even more beautiful than it already is. Pre-order, we're not taking pre-orders at the minute. Lots of guys have wanted to pre-order, and we are so grateful for the interest. But at the minute, please just go to taylorrc.co.uk or detroitperformancerc.com, and you'll find the engine in lots of different sections of the site where you can read the specs, answer some of the questions that I'll try and answer today as well, and you can sign up for notifications. It's marked out of stock at the minute, even though it's there showing, even though it's not available, but just so that you can click the email me when back in stock icon. So hopefully that way you will not miss out. Everyone will be totally fairly informed. You'll all get an email at the same time, and then if you'd like to place an order, which we'd be grateful for, you can do so when they're actually ready to rock and roll. That is the plan. Or if we do decide to do a short pre-order period, we will make sure that we inform you properly. But I do not want to take a penny for the engines until I have all the pieces in my hand that I've trusted with my suppliers to make to my design, so that I can physically promise you will get what you paid for. That's not good business to be taking money when I don't have the components on the shelf. So that's the plan with that. Exhaust fitment, she will fit any exhaust on the market that currently has been made for a Zenoa or CY engine. 23 to 36, some of the Rovan stuff there. The exhaust port is the same bolt pattern and size as those engines to make it convenient for you just to drop it straight in. Obviously, there are some better pipes for it. We make a 34cc plus, like a Baja side pipe. Olimat makes some phenomenal big bore, sort of big small engine pipes, and those pipes will give you slightly more performance, but it still will work very well on all the pipes on the market. So there's no, we're not going to go into which pipe does work or doesn't better. I think it's best that you guys find that out for yourselves, because there's so many brands out there. We couldn't afford to buy them all and test every single one and try and give you a opinion, because it wouldn't necessarily be fair anyway. So we do make our own pipes that will all work nicely, but other manufacturers make some phenomenal pipes as well, and they will all work very, very well. Fitment in different cars, she will pretty much fit everywhere that a gas engined fifth scale is made. So actually I will just touch on to the point, it's the bolt pattern here on the side of the case and the overall dimensions of the crankcases, we've based them off the G290 or the CY29 on purpose to make it way more universal. As some of you may have come across, the G320 Zenoa is a different crank width and bolt pattern here, so it doesn't fit so well on a lot of the cars that were made for the CY and Zenoa 29cc. So we based it off of that to make it as universal as possible. So like your Red Cat guys, FG if you wanted to, MCD, all that sort of stuff, it just drops straight in. There is a list on the website as to, the listing for this on the website has a list of which cars it will fit into, which is pretty much everything. I will just, when we're talking of fitment, I have got a Zenoa G320, this is actually an ESP 340, but can you see that there? if you line them up off the bolt patterns, the 35 is about 5mm taller in height. So just off the that's because it's using a 5mm longer rod. So that's the only actual reason for that. Otherwise, dimensionally, it's pretty much the same. So it's going to drop in the same place, in the same locations that other engines will. It's just basically that plug sits 5mm higher because of the 5mm longer connecting rod. So that's fitment covered. Well, so we got, one of the favorite questions you guys have asked is about horsepower. You may have seen from our big bore engines, I don't release horsepower figures, and that is a good reason for that, in the sense that it's quite a misleading bunch of information on the market. Some people post horsepower figures, some people don't post horsepower figures. I choose not to, in the sense that if you've used lots of different dynos in your lifetime, which I've been fortunate to do that, they all give different figures for the same engines. They all run different software programs, which also have different correction factors, which give different results. And to be honest with you, you're not comparing apples with apples if you are comparing dyno results from lots of different companies. It's just not fair. You can make, I can take our Dyno Pro EBK38 and give you a dyno chart of 50 horsepower for this if you'd like one, but that's just because I just play with the correction factor and make it say what I want it to say. That doesn't mean that it's real. So I'd prefer you guys to watch a video of it, see the performance on a video and say, I want that engine because it looks awesome, it's going to make my car go fast, rather than just tell you a figure and try and suck you into some kind of marketing scheme based off figures that I couldn't substantiate or couldn't compare to other manufacturers. So I'm not saying that other people are telling porkies, I'm just saying that you can't really compare on an even platform unless you test everything at the same time, which is what we did when we were giving our sort of comparison figures, when we were creating our benchmark that I mentioned in my first video. And the goal, as I said in the first video, was to create an engine that was of like stock OEM sort of design, but could create at least as much performance as the best engine we tested, which we achieved. All two-stroke engines differ a little bit. We're not going to try and get into the funny details of exactly which engine did what, how well on our testing, because that's just going to create controversy, and that doesn't help the hobby. I'm all about the hobby. I always have been, and I got into RC, I'm not sure if anyone knows, because I just love fifth scale cars. They sucked me in, and the next thing I know, I'm giving up my job and working in it full time, and I feel very lucky for that. But the last thing I want to do is do anything that damages the hobby. So if you're wondering how much horsepower they make, I'm not going to tell you a figure. Watch the videos. If you think it looks fast, buy one. If you don't like the look of it, please don't buy one. It's as simple as that. I want to impress you by what they look like in action rather than what they look like on paper, because that's just pie in the sky. So anyway, that's the subject of horsepower. I would like to sort of end it there. Please don't ask on figures. I'm not going to release it and create any more controversy than there already is in the market. So I can assure you that it's a very powerful little engine, and most importantly, it is a stock OEM design. So that's actually one thing I wanted to touch on. It wasn't really a question that someone asked, but it's something that I wanted to explain better than I did the first time round. This is a stock engine. It's not a ported engine. We've not, taken something else and modified it. We have obviously designed our own port map and cast our own cylinder to a port design that makes really good power. But it is still an OEM stock engine. So of course it has room for more power. Of course it has to provide reliability. I couldn't sell this for the sort of universal fitment high-powered engine that I wanted to sell it as, knowing that it was pushed to its limit, and the port's edges were about to fray away if the ring caught in the edge of it. That's not the idea of this engine. It's supposed to be ultra reliable, sort of stock feel of engine, in the sense that everything is kind of suited to each other rather than being modified. And of course there's more room to upgrade this later. The whole point of this engine is it's a new platform, not just an engine. I have absolutely no doubt we will offer bolt-on performance upgrades at a later date as we continue to develop with the engine. We can squeeze more power out the cylinder if we choose to. We can tailor it to, at the minute it's a nice all-round wide power band, but if we want to do like a drag race edition, then maybe down the road when I've got more time, please don't ask me now, we can do like a more top-end related cylinder that is specific to drag, just bolt on go. So when you're making your investment in your 35, you're buying into a new platform that you can then take in whatever direction you want, with stuff that will offer you in future. So please understand the goal of the project and what we're trying to achieve here. It's a reliable, super reliable, very powerful base engine that we can build on as we learn about it better, and obviously as you guys give us feedback on what you want from it. At the end of the day, we're trying to do this to please you guys, because that's the way it works. So that was that. What else did you guys ask? Someone asked about the head. Yes, it is removable. These are two separate pieces. It's a billet removable head that bolts on with 8 bolt patterns there, so you can remove it for easy servicing. Or if you guys want to try and pull it yourself, I can assure you there's horsepower locked up in this cylinder that you can widen the exhaust port more. The intake timing and the transfer timing is not ultra aggressive. It's quite conservative still, because we're trying to create that width of power so that it's got loads of bottom end. We've got significantly more grunt than any other engine we tested. We might be, matching the best engine that we tested, but I can tell you we have significantly more bottom end. So you can transfer some of that power up into the top end if you want to go crazy. But fill your boots. You bought your engine. Why not play with it? So, so that was that. Oh, weight. A few guys asked about the weight. I will weigh it for you on the camera here. Can you see the scales? I know it's a little bit zoomed out, but yeah, that'll have to do. So here is an engine. I have got a like a CY clutch holder there to make it fair to the Zenoa engine that I'm going to measure. So what's that? That's 1.872. That's actually slightly heavier than I read last time because I've glued on the billet plate. Of course, I forgot about that. So 1.872, and this is an ESP G340. 1.870 I'm getting there. I don't know if you guys can see that. I don't want to move the camera because 1.872, 1.870. So we're talking of literally 2 grams different. And these are both fully prepped. Nothing's been removed from them. Engines that you can see here. The compression is crazy on the 35. Yeah, so that's everything's there. And obviously that does include our billet intake manifold, which as you can imagine is obviously slightly heavier than that plastic manifold. But weight is not an issue. We have really put a huge amount of effort in. Despite being a billet engine, we have, on this test here, we have basically recorded, give or take a few grams, the same weight as a ESP G340. So that's weight sorted. What else do you guys ask us? Size of the engine, I've covered that. It's about the same size, just the plug's a little bit taller. It's compatible with all 54mm clutches, so exactly the same as any other CY or Zenoa engine. You want to bolt any different back plate on here, you just bolt straight on. The standard CY back plate obviously works really well for a cost-effective option. We do stock these, and you can use any 54mm system. 62mm clutch. As some of you guys know, we make a really cool dual spring 62mm clutch for the big bore engines, which is really, really powerful and super successful. Now, we have made this housing that we supply with the engine purposely of a correct size that you can fit a 62mm setup in here. We're not releasing it on launch. I want to do some more testing on it to make sure that it is right. But shout out to Dennis Collins. He's done quite a bit of testing on the 62mm clutch on some Zenoa platforms, but they didn't really have the bottom end to cope with the powerful clutch. This thing has got significantly more bottom end. I want to do some more testing, but all being well, we will release a 62mm clutch for the 35, so that you've got a big clutch if you want one. All spare parts will be available. We offer great spares backup on all of our range. Anything we do has always got spares. If you have a look on our website, the same as our big bore engines, you can pretty much buy every single piece of the engine off the site, and it will be no different with this. In fact, it'll actually be better with this because every single nut, bolt, piece, component will be listed individually as a spare part in stock, ready to ship same day from either ourselves or our American dealer, the Detroit RC. Clutch housing, as I mentioned, G290 fitment, not G320, G290 fitment. So any G290 clutch housing should fit. Now, I have not tested them all. I'll be completely honest with you. I tested, obviously, ours that we made. I tested a Vertigo universal housing, and I tested the King Cobra totally universal clutch housing that they make, a super vented one. It's quite cool, a fully adjustable thing. That fits as well. Beyond that, I didn't test because we don't really deal with any other brands, and I thought, well, 3 options is more than enough. And the Vertigo housing obviously has the mesh brace fitment for the 1.0 lossy if you guys want to run that. So they make like a full Vertigo bell gear housing setup, which you just bolt straight on. Beautiful. So that's that. And videos, yeah, bear with us. The weather has kind of shot us in the foot. Where we were testing in the States, we're under 8 inches of snow, and over here the weather is just abysmal. So just bear with. We'll have more videos coming soon. And someone asked about anodizing. We will offer anodizing on the 35, but just bear in mind there will be long delays. At the minute we're about a month behind on anodizing, so you will have to pay completely up front, including the anodizing cost, and you have to wait for it to be done. But there is no promises on how long you get your engine in terms of anodizing. Just be aware of that. That's the nature of the beast with anodizing. In terms of raw, beautiful, shiny billet engines, they will be available in stock, off the shelf. So I think I've covered everything that I've written down from all the questions you asked. If you've got any other questions, please ask me. But other than that, thank you very much.